So, it was suggested to me I do a team building guide video, given that many of the sample teams are actually quite poor and outdated, sometimes even blatantly illegal, such as in the case of the front page of the UU sample teams. I felt that it's time to give back to the people and do a short, comprehensive video on how to build a decent team. What is up, folks, and I welcome each and every one of you to another competitive Pokemon video. Folks, if you do enjoy this content and you want to see more, I encourage you to like the video and subscribe. If you have not done so already, it really goes a long way, longer than you could possibly imagine. We shall be doing a lot more of these. As discussed, in many of the tiers, the sample teams are quite badly constructed or outdated, so do not rely on the sample teams when you want to get into a metagame. It must be noted, however, that despite the front page of the underused sample teams being completely illegal, go to the very last page of the unused sample teams and there are at least some decent teams for you to use over there. Whenever you hop onto the team build on Pokemon Showdown and choose which tier you'd like to build a team in, this drop-down menu will automatically provide you with information regarding the tier you are playing in. Recently we discussed why Hoopa-Unbound has become one of the most popular dominant Pokemon in the underused tier. So I thought, why not just kick off this video with Hoopa? Also, before we get started, it must be noted that building a decent team is not an easy feat. You don't just randomly play a ladder you've never played before and then simply go and pick 6 random Pokemon that you think are cool or at the top of the viability rankings and go to town. It does require some thought and some basic game knowledge. Also, since there are so many different Pokemon to choose from in every generation, it can sometimes feel quite overwhelming to decide what exactly you need on your team. But have no fear. Today, we will break down the very basics of team building. Hopefully, after this video, you can grasp easy to follow concepts on how to build a team in any competitive tier in competitive singles. Whenever I decide I want to build a new team, regardless of what tier it is, especially if you're a newcomer to the tier, I always aim to have the viability rankings open. This allows you to quickly analyze which Pokemon are doing well in each tier. Here are the viability rankings for underuse. As we can see, you find the viability rankings right over here by the team building resources. And even before I decide how I want to construct my team, I usually ask myself a set of prerequisite questions, and providing answers to these basic questions is what helps me to develop a lot of teams that you have seen over the course of the videos on this channel. And as you all know, I tend to build the teams myself. The first question I always like to ask myself is, what Pokemon do I wish to build a team around today? I know it sounds like a very easy and no-brainer question. Hear me out. As discussed, due to our recent praising of Hoopa, I've decided today that we want to build a team around Hoopa-Unbound. The next question I always recommend you ask yourself is, what can my Pokemon do in this tier? This is the part that requires you to have a little bit of game knowledge and understanding of how to play competitive Pokemon, which comes from knowing basic things such as what do the stats mean on the Pokemon, what does typing mean on the Pokemon. Very easy to follow. The answer to this question is, I know that Hoopa-Unbound can be a strong special attacker, can be a mixed attacker, can be a physical attacker, can be a choice scarf user in the underused tier. It could sometimes drop the assault vest, or it can have high special defense to scare out strong special attackers and retaliate with high powered attacks. So those are the things that Hoopa can do. Next, I like to find out the Pokemon I wish to use. I know what it can do. What exactly is it that I want it to do? Today I've decided to go a little bit safe and easy. I want my Hoopa to be a choice scarf Pokemon to come in versus some squishy and outspeed and 1-hit KO them, or at least do a large chunk of damage to them with its sky-high attacking stats. I want my choice scarf Hoopa to be a all-out physical attacker, and I want my Hoopa to be able to trick its item away, just in case we run into some bulky team styles. Let's give it all the common physical moves it desires, and there I have my first Pokemon locked and loaded. The next thing we want to do is find suitable teammates that can make the Hoopa-Unbound shine. What we need to identify next is what weaknesses does Hoopa-Unbound actually have in the underused tier? Or in general, in fact. When we look at Hoopa's stats, we can see that it is very squishy on the physically defensive side. And with the Psychic and Dark typing, it is very susceptible to U-turn. Hoopa-Unbound is also a Pokemon that is weak to priority moves, and even special switch moves such as Volt Switch, Chilly Reception, and even the usually weak Flip Turn can grant the opponent the momentum to switch into a Pokemon that exposes Hoopa's weaknesses. With that being said, it's clear that we need a Pokemon that can punish U-turn and switch moves in general. This is the part where if I'm new to a tier, I like to go into the viability rankings to see what Pokemon are good in that tier and can fill the role of punishing switch moves such as U-turn, Flip Turn, Volt Switch, and Chilly Reception. Again, as discussed, when you're on the homepage of Pokemon Showdown, you go to the team builder, create a new team, select which tier you wish to build a team in, and the viability rankings will automatically pop up there for you. Now back to the team. I've got my Featuremon, I know what I want it to do for me, and I've identified what its weaknesses are. Now, we need to find some Pokemon that can take advantage of an opponent that is wanting to U-turn out consistently. And looking at the viability rankings, in A+ rank, I see Zapdos with Static is a potential option. Grants me the flying typing as well. And Cobalion is a 4 times resist to U-turn. Looking down, a lot of bulky Pokemon here, but many of them are weak to U-turn, such as the Hydrapple, and Rotom has no reliable recovery. It could still take a sting from a boosted U-turn. Petrant is an option that we might want to explore as it 4 times resists U-turn, which leads us to our next point when making the final decision. Who exactly are the Pokemon that are exposing our weaknesses? And if we look at U-turn in this tier, there are quite a few common U-turn Pokemon. Some of the strongest U-turn Pokemon in this tier also have Dark Stab, meaning that Petrant might not be the best choice to punish a U-turn. And in fact, most of these Pokemon have a way to punish the Petrant. Looking at the Pokemon that actually threaten Hoopa-Unbound with a U-turn, it's mostly the physical attacking ones. And Petrant itself does not have a good matchup against some of the common physical attacking U-turn Pokemon. Lokix's Dark Stab will do high amounts of damage, and so will Scizzor's Knockoff. Hence that makes our decision a bit easier. Of course you could use Petrant if you wanted to, but I'm deciding to go with Cobalion with a Rocky Helmet. Also, Lokix is a highly viable Pokemon, and so is Scizzor, sitting at A+ and simply A rank. And Cobalion punishes the dark attacks from both of these Pokemon, making it one of the perfect partners to punish U-turns aimed at Hoopa-Unbound. I decided to go with Max Attack, Max Speed, Stealth Rock, and Volt Switch to help support the Hoopa. Volt Switch to make it easier to bring Hoopa in safely. And as discussed, the purpose of the Cobalion is not to be an all-out tank, but rather to be a U-turn deterrent, or to switch in and take minimal damage and punish Pokemon that are aiming their U-turns at Hoopa-Unbound. Next, as we discussed, Hoopa-Unbound's weakness isn't simply just U-turn, it's switch moves in general. Volt Switch is also a very common switch move used in competitive Pokemon. We need to think about making use of a ground type to block the Volt Switches, scare out the Pokemon that may potentially aim that move at the Hoopa-Unbound. After combing through the viability rankings, I immediately eliminated Excadrill due to us already having a Steel type in the team. Rhyperior I eliminated because Rock also is weak to the Fighting type, and we already have Cobalion as a Stealth Rocker. My choices were starting to look like Gastrodon and Donphan. I decided to go with Donphan because it's not a complete sitting duck. I already had a Pokemon that had physical bulk. I decided to put the Assault Vest on the Donphan due to most Volt Switch Pokemon being predominantly special attacking Pokemon. We need that extra longevity versus their special attacks just in case they decide to throw something other than an electric move. Next on the agenda see that our entire team is physical attacking Pokemon thus far, and so we need a special attacker as well. Having the viability rankings open and considering what types of the Pokemon are, it is quite easy to immediately discard a lot of these Pokemon. Ninja is simply too weak and shares the dog typing with Hoopa-Unbound. Keldeo shares the fighting typing and similar stats to Cobalion. Pokemon such as Superior have an initial special attacking stat that is too low. Superior does not provide momentum, which is one of our, and Superior does not have the potential to provide momentum in the form of a switch move, which is one of Hoopa's biggest weaknesses, being a difficulty to get in on the field. Going through the viability rankings, Latios looks like the best choice. It's the strongest, it's the fastest, and it does have a unique switch move in the form of Flip Turn. Most of the physical checks to Hoopa-Unbound, Latios has the potential to beat, making Latios an ideal partner. And there we have it, Choice Specs Latios. If Hoopa can't beat them on the physical side, Choice Specs Latios will punish them on the special side. Next, it's still not be stressed enough how difficult it is to get Hoopa-Unbound onto the field of battle safely after it was scared out by a U-turn, which will happen. Looking at our team thus far, we are still quite weak to Mold Breaker, Excadrill, who stab Earthquake and put a dent in every one of our Pokemon as we have no resist. It's time we get an immunity to Earthquake, preferably a Pokemon with a switch move. And two options jump right at us, Tornadus Therian and Zapdos. Those two are the most viable Pokemon, and probably the most reliable Pokemon to hover above the Earthquakes. Tornadus possesses the U-turn, and Zapdos possesses the Volt Switch and U-turn. I decided to go with Zapdos, due to it not only hovering above the Earthquakes, having a switch move, but it also punishes U-turns and other contact moves such as Knockoff that may be aimed at the Hoopa-Unbound. When you're coming near to the end of your team building, you need to think, what is my team still missing after all of these ideas have been slapped together? And the one glaring thing I see is missing. We have no setup sweeper, and we are also lacking in priority. When deciding on a setup sweeper, it is best to look at the structure of your team. Is this a hyper offense team? Is this a balanced team? Is this a bulky offense team? What kind of team are we rocking? If you want to know what's the difference between every team archetype, such as stall, semi-stall, hyper offense, offense, let me know in the comments down below. I'll make a video explaining each and every playstyle in grand detail if enough people are interested. But looking at our team is not a hyper offensive team. So we do not need a setup sweeper. It's all or nothing. We also have a very distinct lack of priority moves, meaning that if the opponent has any priority, it doesn't matter if our Hoopa has Choice Scarf or if our Latios is so strong and so fast, it will always outspeed us. We are lacking in a setup sweeper with priority move. And there are only two main ones that come to mind, that being Scizor, Swords Dance Bullet Punch, and Comfey, with Fairy typing and Triage healing moves. Azumarill being a setup sweeper is too hit or miss. Better on hyper offensive teams, so is Holucha, so we're not counting it. Vacuum Wave on the Keldeo, as discussed, Keldeo competes with Cobalion. Low Kicks' Dark typing competes with the Hyperspace Flurries. Quackable's Water Fighting typing also competes with Cobalion, so even though it has Aqua Jet, it's not the priority we require. So our choices really are limited to Scizor. I'm deciding to go with Comfey because it offers a unique typing compared to the rest of the squad, unlike Scizor. There we have our team, folks. You'll notice that I didn't discuss in-depth EVs and IVs and intense calculations. This was just a step-by-step thought process, how to build any team in any tier revolving around one Pokemon. Whereas you identify what the Pokemon can do for you, identify what you want it to do for you, identify what its weaknesses are, and analyze the viability rankings to search for the appropriate Pokemon to cover your weaknesses with the Pokemon you are desiring to show off for the day. Once you have your team set up and built, you need to take it to town and have a few games with it, have many games with it, and discover what you might be struggling with. That's where the calculated EVs and IVs will stem from, and Terra types. Just to prove it, all my Pokemon are literally max in their preferred stat that we want them to excel in. And the Terra types, you can choose whatever you want, tailoring it to the team's needs. And the best tier types for your specific team will be uncovered through practice and games. That being said, we are number 6 on the underused ladder. Let's take this team to town and see if it actually is a team worth its salt. And we've got a Hoopa user as well. See if our team holds any water. Hoopa-Unbound has not that many targets. The Cobalion is their dedicated switch. My Zapdos will have to check the Cobalion. Hopefully it's not Stone Edge, but I doubt it is. They've got a rock type in Ogerpon. Donphan will have to check the Thundurus and potentially the Hoopa-Unbound. We have Sturdy on deck so we can lead with it and be safe versus everything. And I can decide from that position if I am willing to sacrifice my Donphan or the Ogerpon's Sturdy. They may have Horn Leech, so Sturdy might be something they get back. Cobalion is to check their own Cobalion, their Hoopa-Unbound, and their Ogerpon. And Comfey, like I said, not too bad. We'll Carmine once, Terra Fairy, Draining Kiss can potentially sweep this game once the Excadrill has been weakened. So let's leave with Donphan as it doesn't lose to anybody. We actually beat this Pokemon 1v1 due to the fact that we are Assault Vest, and I just have to decide if I desire to knock this item off. I do not really desire to do that. I'll go to Zapdos. If they end up Chilly Recepting out, it's fine on them. I knew they would Scald. I don't want my Donphan Star. I personally wouldn't go into Excadrill and risk the Heat Wave. Stay in here. The next move they will click is Chilly Reception. Guarantee it. Let's go to Donphan as they Chilly Recept out, probably into the Ogerpon as discussed. I have to decide to sacrifice my Donphan's HP for the Ogerpon Cornerstone's Sturdy. I do not really have a grand as Excadrill. Well, I'm definitely going to click Rapid Spin. I don't know why Rapid Spin. That was actually my bad. My B. Earthquake here. Slowking came in hot. 31% from the Earthquake. That's quite a lot. I must admit. Anyways, moving on. Harden the Zapdos and then they might Chilly out. I'm gonna knock off. Good damage. The next time they Scald me, they Chillied out. That's excellent for me. I'd personally go into Ogerpon and threaten, and they would hunt the Cabal. Oh no. I have to Earthquake. This is not what I expected, but I shall knock this victim off as I'm max under the Assault Vest. I'm max. How much did my Earthquake do? Quite a lot. I'm gonna throw it off. Throw off the Earthquake. Who's your flying type in this town? It is the Thundurus Therian. Unbelievable that he's going back and forth between the Thundurus and the Chilly Reception. But Chilly Reception, dude. My Earthquake again, as discussed. There's the Earthquake, and they didn't kill it, they're slacking off. I expect them to slack off again. Hoopa's in, and Hoopa is in and powerful. We might as well just throw off. I managed to burn their Terra type. And Scald, they missed, that is very lucky. Very, very lucky. Now that they missed, how can I solve it? I have a Zapdos here. Now that we know what Terrestrialized type they're rocking, Earthquaking with the Donphan is not too bad. Cobalion can actually come in a lot easier versus the Slowking. Thundurus Therian is in here, and now this might, I repeat, might be a Weather Baller. So much so that we're going to throw Hoopa in on this Weather Ball. And Evolve switches a Sludge Bomb me, no poison. Oh, I'm just getting it all unlucky today, aren't I? They have yet to show me a switch into the Zen Headbutt. So I will do it. As they go into Slowking, it's going to do not much. Oh my goodness, and I'm missing in return. This is clearly going to click the Chilly Reception. This time I put these rocks on the floor so that this and all these people cannot switch in for free. Who are you going to go into here? I'm faster than Thundurus Therian. Yes, I am. I'm hard into Thundurus Therian. The part sucks for us. We're struggling. We're really struggling versus this Pokemon. The Volt Switch is so easy and obvious. But rocks will go a long way. I have no ghosts. Getting rocks up for this entire Pokemon is not a grand idea. Latios, come on in and show them what you can do. There's the Focus Blast. That's excellent for me. There is only the Thundurus that they have left. They have Slowking for Draco Meteor switch in. I'm gonna flip them. I have to flip them. There's the Slowking, as discussed. Now Cobalion can come in for free. Yes, it can. Is that exactly what we desire to do? I'm gonna make it so difficult for them to get the rocks off this floor. They stay in. Chilly out. Thunder Waving time, eh? Not something I potentially am afraid of. They have no Iron Head switching. And I'm still fast, and I might even flinch you. You never know. Flinch. Got them a bit low. That's one piece of exciting news. It says, here's Thundurus Therian, and there are boots with the fur on the Thundurus. Personally, I'd go for Weather Baller here. I don't really have a switch. And I'm telling you, my friends, Hoopa-Unbound has done his job, performed his duty by forcing the Slowking to terrestrialize. But is that enough of a catch? Do I need anything to check the cornerstone? I don't think so. I'm gonna go into Hoopa on the potential vault switch. I'm gonna yes, go into this. I'm gonna go yes, I died. Slowking came in hot. On the rocks at least. That's one thing I can say. This is a very delicate game. I'm not playing it too well. However, shall simply Ironhead. If they go hard in Excadrill, that is a possibility. I wouldn't be so surprised to see hard into Excadrill. Hard into Cobalion. That's interesting now that I look at it. No Rocky Helmet. I didn't take any Rocky Helm. I know I do not die to close combat, so much so that I will close combat theirs for the chip, and they died. I might have died. I might have been wrong. Your Cobalion. You are no slouch on the physical attacking side. I do not need anybody else's terror type. If I blow the Excadrill away, I win the game. There we go. Blow the Excadrill, I can win the game with Comfey. Told you. Hoopa-Unbound has done his duty by defeating the... What's this guy called? Slowking Regular. Of course I would Volt Switch if I was the opponent. I'm gonna go hard at the Donphan. And there's the Volt Switch. Now I Rapid Spin. Of course I Rapid Spin, right? No, I start with the chip. That's good chip. It's really good chip. I do say so myself. Do I do it again? No, I don't dare to do that again. I Rapid Spin this time because I knew this thing might be coming in. I'm gonna keep Donphan alive just for the priority on the Ogerpon. We never know if we do need that eventually. Of course they're going to Scald me here, but when the Scald comes my way, what will I do about that? I'm so close to winning the game with Draining Kiss. Still have to get some chip on the Ogerpon. Sack the Cobalion. See what's up. Scald, burn. Well, not burn, kill. Scald, kill. Scald, destroy me. That's what I expected to see. Alright. Let it be known and let it be said right here, right now, folks. What needs to happen is, I Calm Mind, they Thunder Wave is paralyzed me. I Calm Mind again, I'm at +2. Then they go into Ogerpon. I don't know if that's a win. If I do say so myself. I don't know if that is a win. These are the questions. But can my max HP, max special attack, Comfey, live a Ogerpon Cornerstone hit? It probably does not. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not too certain, but I'm gonna go for that position. Oh, I can taunt them. Let it be known, I could taunt on this guy. Oh goodness me, they went for this guy. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna risk the Latios. Really and truly I will. There's a Sludge Bomb, no poison this time. I'm gonna throw for Luster Purge. That's the Luster we needed. That's the good chip we needed. Personally, I'd go into the Hoopa-Unbound. Upon seeing Hoopa-Unbound, I'm gonna swap in Zapdos. You have to go into Hoopa-Unbound and I'm gonna Volt Switch out. There's the Unbound dude. I will take the opportunity to roost as they go for Space Flurry. And the defense is on. Oh goodness. That might be Choice Scarf now that I look at it though. Let me land Hurricane as they do end up destroying me in one fell swoop. Comfey, if they are not banded, that could be problematic. Or not banded, but if they are not Choice Scarfed. I believe they are Choice Scarfed. My heart of hearts, trying to find out. Space Flurry, that means they are Choice Locked in some fashion. Do I risk getting critical hit? I don't want to do that, if I'm being honest with you. Don't exactly want to do that. But it's fun, it's Pokemon. Let it be known I could win the game if I just Draining Kiss this, get back to full. I'll mind again later. Maybe. You never know. You never know. It's actually getting quite delicate and dangerous. Still, I'll Calm Mind. And I'm living. Draining Kisser. It's a 1k, of course. And I'm at 67% HP LB9. They forfeit. There was no need to forfeit. Ogerpon could have whipped me. A new one. And got a critical hit with the Ivy Cudgel. You never know. So there was no need to forfeit. But maybe I would have wanted KO'd them. I'm not sure. I have not run the calculations. But there you have it, folks. A team we simply built and conjured up from our imagination. Not doing too badly, and that puts us still at number 6 on the ladder. No matter, this guy will decay and then I'll be number 5 tomorrow. Folks, if you did enjoy this type of content, please be sure to subscribe and like the video especially. If you want to see more, let me know which Pokemon you want me to build a team around to share the people. Yes, I will share this team. I will link it in the description of the video. Any team, any item on the featured Pokemon, and then we will build a team. I'll share it with you guys and share my thought patterns on how the team was constructed and do a battle with it, a complementary battle, just to show you that it's not total nonsense. In closing, all the Pokemon were max in the stat I wanted it to be. For example, Donphan is max in the special defense, and max on the HP because I wanted it to be a special defensive wall that blocks Volt Switch for me. Cobalion, I didn't want it to be a physical wall, but I wanted it to still Volt Switch around and be a U-turn deterrent. It's max. Zapdos, max defense, be a U-turn deterrent as well. Comfy has Triage, but I wanted it to be a setup sweeper, max special attack, and be so fast anyway with Triage. Max HP just for the survivability. Yes, professional players like to tweak and calculate the IVs precisely, but that's not what we're about right here, right now. Basics first, get it right, have an idea of how to construct the team, and then you can work out the intricate details once the team has been built. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. Honestly, I'm open to anything. Now we'll do another one. If somebody shows any interest in any Pokemon, in any tier, literally, I can do any tier, any Pokemon. But enough said. Until next time, folks, hope to see you again. We'll be U-turning out. Thanks for watching.